Welcome back to the School of HardKnox podcast. On this week's show, we're talking about the details. That's right, those little things that can set you up for success if you pay attention to them, or bound you to failure if you neglect them. It is time to get on the bus because class is in session. This is episode 149 of the School of HardKnox podcast, and it starts now. Thank you for listening to the School of HardKnox podcast. This show is about personal development for business success. Not only do we tell the stories of successful people in order to create more successful people, we want to help you turn your thoughts and ideas into reasonable, rational, and profitable action. This show is about my life experiences, your life experiences, and how we can work together to become the best versions of ourselves. Prepare to be inspired, motivated, and most importantly, challenged. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the School of HardKnox podcast. Your host, Mark W. Knox, coming to you on this second day of the Blackest History Month. That's right, every month is Black History Month, but February is especially celebrated nationwide as the Blackest History Month there is. Listen, I encourage you to go a little bit deeper this year with your Black history studies. I encourage you to go a little bit deeper this year with your understanding and your knowledge. It's somewhat simple to just kind of grab what's out there in the atmosphere, right, of the notable heroes that we all love and adore and cherish. I want you to study those out, but I want you to peel back the onion, look at some quotes, look at some speeches, maybe read some poems, read some books, some things that you may not have uncovered before, things that you may not have been taught in an institutional setting before. I want you to go a little bit deeper, right? I want you to go a little bit deeper. I'm thinking next week we might do like a Black history segment. We'll see. I'm not necessarily a historian, but I do appreciate history. I do appreciate the struggle. I appreciate all of the sacrifices that generations before us have made so that I can confidently sit in this position that I'm in now. So, I'm thinking about dedicating some energy, some pod time to Black History Month specifically. But this week, this second day of February, if you're listening on release day, Monday, February 2nd, I want to get into something that, well, first of all, let me back up. Every time I sit behind this camera, every time I've sat behind this camera and this microphone, everything that I talk about is based on personal experience, right? So one of the things that we say in this show is about my life, your life, and how we can become the best versions of ourselves. And I want to share kind of one of those areas that I've worked on in the past, fell off, worked on again, fell off, and now I'm doing it in a very intentional way right now. And that's about details. So today's show is going to be about paying attention to the details. And this has got me going because before I took the season of silence, the workflow to produce the podcast comprised of certain details and certain steps that had to be done in order to publish a show, back up in order to record a show, publish a show, archive a show, promote a show, so on and so forth, an episode. As I'm going into this new season of podcasting, my workflow is entirely different. Technology has changed just in the last 945 days. And now there's a totally new way to do a podcast, right? So I'm having to learn some different steps, and I'm having to learn some different protocols and workflows to produce a show that is good quality, but also a real show to where you're not distracted by bad quality, right? Because bad audio, bad video can be a distraction. So it's got me thinking about the details. Also, when we talked last week about alignment, one of the most important parts, one of the keys of alignment is paying attention to the details, because it's the details that you not only measure your progress by, but it's also the details that can really throw you off if you don't pay attention to them. So that's what we're going to discuss in this week's session. Let me thank a couple individuals as we move forward. First and foremost, let me thank the Lord for giving me this opportunity to get behind this microphone and speak to whoever needs to hear this message. I don't take that lightly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me also thank my wife, who has been serving last few episodes as my off-camera producer, right? So she's in the room here with me right now, and we just want to make sure that we show her some love because she's the one putting together the camera setup. She's the one making sure the lighting is good. She's the one making sure that nobody runs up in here as we're recording, right, kid-wise. And she's also the one to make sure that those reels and those stories and those quick video clips get put together and posted. So she's doing an amazing job. We will have her on the show eventually when she's ready. We'll have some other guests on the show when they're ready. But I got to shout people out, man. I got to shout people out because that's what we doing right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing right now. So what I want to do is talk about the details. All right. I want to talk about the details. So success, progress, as I've already noted, requires details. Okay. Requires details. Alignment requires details. I used to be one of those individuals, and to be quite honest, I'm not too far gone. Got this incense going, this mug. Well, it got smoky here. It was lavender incense. Gonna put me to sleep. I used to be one of those individuals, and I'm not too far gone. That's her. That put things off and just hope they took care of themselves. Right now, some of you that know me personally, you know that I pay attention to the details. You know that the details are important to me. But what I'm guilty of is only paying attention to details that I care about. The details that I don't care about, I'm a pro at ignoring them. I'm a pro at letting stuff go. I'm a pro at getting notices in the mail for me to send this back, do this, pay this, and just letting it ride. Because I'm just like, it's just not important, right? I'm like a back burner type of person sometimes when it comes to stuff that I don't really care about, to be quite honest. And I've had to learn lessons the hard way of understanding that things don't just take care of themselves, right? There's a reason somebody sends you a form in the mail and needs you to send it back. There's a reason somebody sends you an email with a survey and they need you to send it back. There's a reason somebody texts you looking for a response to a minor detail for something that may not be important to you, but might be holding up an entire project. There's a reason. And those things don't just work themselves out, right? There's no path without a plan. And there's no plan without details, right? So when you think about, this is how I think about details. When you think about a GPS system, right? You put in your car, on your phone, you put in the address of the destination. That is the end point. That is where you want to end your journey. It could be a goal. It could be a dream, but regardless, there's an end point. You're looking for a certain result. So you put the result into the GPS, being the destination. You then are calculated based on where you currently are. So in 9 times out of 10, when you're using a GPS system, you don't have to put in where you are. The system knows where you are. Okay. You have to put in where you want to go. However, in between here and there, in between starting point and destination, are details. And a lot of details, like left in 500 feet, right in 2 miles, merge in 1.5 miles, take this exit, go this direction for this long. Like, there's a lot of details. Very rarely will you punch in a location on your GPS unless you're going literally down the street from where you started to where you don't have any details in between. And if you don't pay attention to those details, you could be going in the right direction and never end up where you're supposed to be. You can be going in the right direction and never actually end up at your destination because you were not paying attention to the details. Now, I'm guilty of someone who knows where they started, knows where they want to end up, is progressing and traveling in the general direction of that goal or that result that I'm looking for, but can't realize the result because I was not paying attention to the actual details along the route. Again, with no plan, there is no path. Every path has to have a plan, and every plan has details. That's why they call it a plan, because it's got details. I used to work for a company years ago, and I might have shared this with you because this kind of struck me one time. I used to work for a company years ago that had some pretty serious sales challenges right after COVID. Just like a lot of companies, right? Some pretty serious sales challenges. And the CEO would get on these conference calls and he would ask questions to some of the territory leaders and some of the territory reps and the channel managers. And he would say stuff like, so, how are we going to attack this particular vertical? How are we going to attack education vertical? How are we going to attack corporate vertical? How are we going to attack healthcare vertical? And I never forget, somebody that was on the call was probably a VP or something, somebody that you would least expect to say what I'm about to tell you said. He says, we're hoping for a this and that in the healthcare sector that should give us a bump. And the first thing out of the CEO's mouth was, hope is not a strategy. Now, being a man of God, being a Christian, when he first said it, I was a little offended. I was like, man, what do you mean hope not a strategy? He was right. Hope's not a strategy. It's got to have details. A strategy is essentially a plan in action, and a plan in action has to have associated details. Well, I say all this to help you understand that there's things that you need to pay attention to along the way that you're probably not paying attention to that will affect the timing and the speed of you getting to where it is you're trying to get to. Right? So there's things that you need to pay attention to along the way that will affect the timing and the speed of where you're trying to go. If you're trying to start your business, if you're trying to get that grant, if you're trying to launch that thing, if you don't pay attention to the details, the minute details, every step along the way, it will affect how long it takes and how fast you get there. Remember, we always used to say this. There are steps to the steps. We use the analogy when you're climbing stairs in a skyscraper. There's often two sets of stairs in between each floor. There's often stairs that go up, they switch back on themselves, and then they go up again. When you get to that first landing, you're not actually at the next floor. You're halfway in between two floors. Let's not confuse being halfway in between two floors with the destination. You still have to go up more steps because there's steps to the steps. And if you don't pay attention to individual steps, what will you do? You will trip. You will fall. You will get hurt. And you will delay your progress. You will delay your destination. So again, at the School of HardKnox, we're really trying to help you understand, based on what I've personally been through, based on what people in my circle have been through. We're trying to help you understand that you can't just coast. You can't just assume everything's going to get taken care of. Even if you got a wonderful business partner like I do, who takes care of all kind of stuff that I don't even see, I still have to have conversations with him. I still have to understand what he's doing in the background, what his thought process is, how I can contribute to the task that he has, and vice versa, right? We can't just assume it's okay. We can't just let it ride. We can't just let it work out itself. That's not how business works. And if you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to understand that as well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from my number one sponsor / supporter, Crown Kids Hair Care, and then we'll come right back and we'll finish up.
Knox Nation, quick question. When was the last time you got a break and your kids got their hair done right? That's what we help you do at Crown Kids Healthy Hair Care Salon. Clean parts, healthy hair routines, and a team that knows how to keep kids calm, comfortable, and confident. Yes, we even help our sensory sensitive kiddos. We are located inside of Liberty Mall, just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. Book your next hair appointment, hair party, or group class with Crown Kids, and let's keep those crowns looking right. For more information, just visit us at crownkidshair.com. Again, that's crownkidshair.com.
And we back. You like that bell? Like that's like a school bell. Like it's time to clap. Okay, forget it. You know what I'm trying to say. It's time for class to start again. Sit down, pay attention. Here we go. So we're talking about details. Let me just explain to you how important details actually are. Okay. When you think about the memories, your best memories of your life, when you think about the vacations, when you think about the weddings and you think about the birthday parties and the trips and just the best memories that you have of your life. Typically, when you're thinking about those times, you're not thinking about the broad time frame. You're not thinking about the entire trip or the entirety of that thing. You're usually thinking about the details, right? So if you take a trip or you go on a tropical vacation, maybe you're thinking about how hot it was. Or you're thinking about how something tasted or how something smelled, right? Or how cool and refreshing the water was. That's details. Details matter. At the end of the day, our lives are comprised of details. And when you really dig into it, details are the things that keep us from fumbling through life, right? The things that keep us from just kind of accidentally waking up in the morning and accidentally going to work and so on and so forth. Like details are the things that we do that make us actually who we are. Details are how we measure our actual progress. Yeah, details are how we measure our progress. Go back to the GPS example. If the GPS tells you to take the nearest legal U-turn, then you know that you messed up somewhere and you didn't follow one of the previous details. And now you got to make that correction. And that's how it is when you're on your way to your destination. That's how it is when you're on your way to your goal. It's the same thing. The details are going to expose what you neglected in the past, and then they're going to help you correct so that you could get back on the path to speed up your time and decrease the distance between you and the actual destination. I'm telling you, details are they're simple, but at the same time, they're complicated. They're complicated when you neglect them. They're simple when you pay attention to them. It's the little things. It's the little thing. I tell you, details for me, like I'm getting to a place where I told you before, as I get older, I start to slow down. I start to slow down my decision-making process. I start to slow down a lot of different areas of my life. And honestly, I think I even told my wife this one time. I think I even walk slower now because I'm just kind of more intentional with my movements. Because, you know, when you get to a certain age, certain conditions, if you change directions too fast, you can sprain your ankle. You know what I mean? You change directions too fast, you get whiplash. You have a crook in your neck for 2 days. So I'm more intentional with my movements. And one of the things that I started to notice around my home, this is just details. This is not even that deep, but it's details. One of the things I started to notice around my home is that this is just work with me. The knobs on the cabinets. Okay. So we got a kitchen full of cabinets. We got bathrooms full of cabinets. The knobs on some of the cabinets are loose. Okay. The knobs on some of the cabinets are loose. So when we talk about details and taking care of the details, you don't have to broadcast that you're taking care of details. Just do it. So I found myself on let's see, this is Monday, so Friday afternoon, right before my son got off the bus, literally walking around the house with a Phillips screwdriver and tightening all of the knobs on all of the cabinet doors in the entire house. Now, as a man, that's my job anyway. But I couldn't tell you how long some of these knobs have been loose. I don't know, because I wasn't paying attention to those details. I probably wouldn't have actually paid attention to those details until a knob had actually fallen off one of the cabinet doors. And a couple of them, especially in my kids' bathroom, pretty darn close. So I say all that to say, we got to be intentional about our movements so that we don't ignore the details. Because the last thing you want to do is ignore a simple detail or a simple direction or a simple task and the knob fall off. I don't know where I was going with that, but you understand what I'm saying. Simple. The daggone knob fell off. Now, I'm sure there's ways, but there's some cabinets, the way they're built, if the doors are inset, if the cabinet don't have no knobs, you can't open the cabinet. I'll give you an example. If you go to my Instagram right now, you will see a video. You'll see a reel of my team and I installing a frame TV, a Samsung frame TV, 65-inch frame TV in one of our clients' bourbon rooms. He's got this room where he's going to store his bourbon and a bunch of cabinets or whatever. Cabinets are green. They're beautiful. Just got painted. One of the things that's on our scope of work is to put LED strip lighting and put them on his home automation system in all of the cabinets. So there's 8 cabinets, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, big old cabinets. Well, the way they built these cabinets are all custom. The way they built them, you can't open the cabinet if it don't have a knob, right? And they don't have knobs on them yet. We've been waiting for like 14 days because they got these special order knobs. The only way to open the cabinet is to pry it open with a screwdriver, and then you risk damaging the cabinet. It's the details. The cabinets are beautiful, but they are useless when you can't open them. It's the details. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of custom cabinets, and we're waiting on some knobs. It's the details, people. It's the details. I say all that to say, again, don't neglect the details. Pay attention to your strategy. Pay attention to your route. Now, if you're thinking right now, you're thinking, man, Mark, I know where I've started. I know what I want my destination to be, but I don't even know what these details are you're talking about. Like, I haven't even come across like, what are these details? Like, what am I supposed to be paying attention to? If that's you, then you're chasing a dream and you're not trying to achieve a goal. Because remember, there's a difference. So if you don't even notice the details, then you're probably dream chasing, which is fine. But that's why they call it dream chasing, because you probably will never catch it. Okay. But if you're looking and you're trying and you're striving to achieve a goal, there's details involved. So if your goal, if your dream, no, let me say that again. If your goal does not have details, then it's probably a dream that you're chasing. And I'll caution you now, it's okay to have dreams, but let's not confuse dreams with goals. Goals have actionable items. They have actionable tasks. And each one of those tasks is considered a detail, which when completed or followed in the correct order will get you closer to your destination. It will reduce your time and it will increase your speed on getting there. When we come back, we're going to do extra credit. And we back. Now remember, extra credit, new segment, second week in a row. I hope last week you did your assignment. You took some time. You took 10 to 15 minutes to reveal, to understand, to uncover areas that you needed to bring into alignment. Now that word alignment, I've been hearing it all week. After the show that we did last week, I've been hearing that word all week long. Okay. I've been hearing it I heard it at church about 10 times a day. That helps me know that that the stuff that I'm saying, everybody's thinking it. Okay. Alignment was a good show. We got some great feedback. Shout out to Jared Twyman down there in Nashville doing his thing. Jared, thanks for reaching out, man. Appreciate you big time. Proud of you, bro. Proud of you, man. We got to talk soon. All right. So extra credit. Let's go over this again. Extra credit is not just about doing extra work. It's not just about doing something in addition to. Extra credit is about doing something that no one else is willing to do. Okay. And it's for you. It's not for me. You don't have to turn this in. You don't have to lie to me and say you did it. If you didn't, it ain't about me. Extra credit is for you, right? It's for you. I'm trying to give you, this is my call to action. You know, my call to action could be, like and subscribe. I want you to do that too. But ultimately, my call to action is to help you. And that is to give you an assignment. That is to give you some tangibles to take away from what you're hearing. This is not just another thing in your ear, right? This is meant to help you grow. So this week's extra credit assignment is based on another one of my affirmations. And I'm telling you, I'm giving you some more scripture. So you might as well just get your Bible out, get your Bible app going. The affirmation is this: I am not behind. My path required depth, not speed. I'll say that again. I am not behind. My path required depth, not speed. I'm going to spin it back on you. You are not behind. Your path required depth and not speed. This is based on Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appropriate time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Again, for the revelation awaits an appropriate time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and not delay. Here's what I want you to do for extra credit. February 2nd, 2026. You guessed it. It's all about details. I want you to identify the destination that you're trying to get to. Just one, because I know many of you are doing a lot of things and that's great. But I want you to identify one of those destinations that you are trying to get to that you have not yet gotten to. It could be the one that you've been trying to get to for years. It could be the one that you just mapped out. But I want you to identify the destination. I want you to assess where you currently are, meaning your starting place or your current position. And I want you to chart and strategize the actual steps, the actual details of what it's going to take to get to the next level, the next stage, and ultimately the destination. So remember the steps analogy I gave you earlier? I want you to chart out the steps involved to get you to the next floor. I want you to chart out the steps involved to get you to the destination. There's steps to the steps. I want you to go granular. I don't want you to have big picture idea right now. This is not the time for that. I want you to go granular. I want you to go minute. I want you to go small. What are the steps to the steps? You want to start this type of business? What is the absolute first step? What is the absolute second step? Right? I'm talking Just what is it? 1, 2, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3, 3A, 3 granular. I want you to map it out because I then want you to use that as the GPS. Use that as the guide. Just like the GPS will tell you to turn left in 500 feet. And then when you get to about 10 feet away, it'll say turn left, even though it told you 500 feet ago. That's what I want you to do. I want you to understand the destination and chart out and map out the details. Listen, the School of Hard Knocks exists for you. It exists for me. This is a place where I can share with you the many things, the many scenarios, the many lessons that I've learned that have gotten me through, that have gotten me where I am. But it's also a place where you can come, compare and contrast without any type of preconceived notions, without any type of imposter syndrome, without any type of guilt, negativity, none of that. What they say, we listen and we don't judge. Ain't that what they say? This is a place where we'll listen and we won't judge. And I hope you do the same for me. Heads up, we did launch our YouTube element. If you go back and listen to last week's episode, and you can go to YouTube, the YouTube channel is The School of HardKnox. You might have to do some in-depth searching. You might have to put in HardKnox, Mark Knox, School of HardKnox. When you find it, you'll find it. You'll see me. When you find me, you found it. Okay? When you find my face, you found the show. Subscribe. That's all I'm gonna ask you to do. Subscribe. You ain't gotta, I ain't gonna say that. Just subscribe. Okay. Also want you to hop over to Instagram. What you're gonna see on my Instagram is a little bit different than you've seen in the past, because I'm embracing everything that I'm aligned with right now. You're going to see Mark Knox, the father, the husband. You're going to see Mark Knox, the business owner, the creative in the technology space, the system designer, the installer, the tech integrator. You're going to see Mark Knox, the podcast host. That's me. That's my life. That's what you're going to see. I thought about doing 2 and 3 separate Instagram pages. I don't have that much bandwidth. Okay. So go like and follow my Instagram, the School of Hard Knocks, Mark W. Knox. Again, if you see my face, you found me. Follow me. And just follow along, man. Follow along on my journey, because you will see details in there. You'll see cool stuff. You'll hear clips from the show. You'll see my family. You'll see my beautiful wife. It's the details. It's the details. I appreciate y'all. This has been the School of Hard Knocks podcast. I am your host, Mark W. Knox. The details. I'll see y'all next week. Thank you for listening to the School of Hard Knocks podcast. You can find our archives as well as new episodes by subscribing on Apple Podcast. Questions or concerns or feedback about the show? Message me directly on Instagram at the School of Hard Knocks. That's KNOX. Thank you for listening. See you next week.